Dear viewer, you are now under the spell of advertisement. When you wake up, this was the best YouTube episode ever seen.
Hiya, welcome back, and today we are doing an adventure. It's certainly a bit nicer than I'm used to. Tag along and we'll meet some interesting people as well.
We've been doing an antelope hunt in New Mexico for almost a decade now, and we've always paired some aspect of training in front of it. This year, we're trying a new format where we do a one-day fundamentals of marksmanship course followed by a one-day equipment readiness, and it looks like the pace and timing and what the people are learning right before they go hunting is perfect for a hunting course.
Is this really the perfect course for that kind of first-time hunter that's really looking to get into long-range shooting, because we go straight from learning the basic fundamentals of long-range shooting to the next day they're out there, hunting for antelope.
Yeah. So you haven't shot this gun at all before, but we're essentially starting from scratch. So what we need to do is we need to check the zero,
and you're saying
make any adjustments that we need, and then we're going to give you a little advanced taste of the technology. So we'll use the Revic app, and then we'll also use the ballistics and the scope to see. We've got a 500-yard target, and then I think we're 800 and then 1,000. So
Center.
hard to beat.
Yeah.
Should we try a longer shot? We've got to at least validate to 800, don't we?
Yeah, that's fine.
This is hands down my favorite class that we do. Target-rich environment, antelope everywhere, awesome facility here that we use at the Whittington Center. Students go from, may or may not know something about long-range hunting or shooting, and they learn it in the classroom, literally walk, 50 yards here to the shooting range and apply it in a pretty controlled environment with someone looking over their shoulder and not a lot of pressure. They really get that progression in this class of, step 1, 2, and 3, so to speak. And yeah, it's fun to watch that with the students.
This episode contains sponsored items. Before you go, subscribe, like, and comment. Click the bell if you want notifications of new episodes.
So that's the first day out. Our car broke down. Wheel fell off. And really the scale of the open landscape is just amazing. Even if you're not hunting, it's worth coming here and just experiencing it.
It's big.
I'm certainly glad I brought someone who's more familiar with it. I wouldn't know what to do with this country
Well, this is how it works. You go to that spot way over there, and then you glass everywhere you can look. And then you go way over to the next spot, and then you glass everywhere you can look. Sometimes you'll find them, and sometimes you don't, but it's huge. We'll hunt so many square miles to dig up a big pronghorn on this trip.
How far would you estimate it is to the horizon here now?
I'd say that's 4 miles.
4 miles, so 7 kilometers.
Yeah, and that's just because it's a little rise. If you look that way we're probably looking at 8 to 9 miles probably.
So that's with a hunting kit, 3.5 hours of walking.
Yeah, no, you have to use a vehicle to get to another block. And essentially what we're doing is we're hunting huge New Mexico cattle ranches. And on those cattle ranches where they'll run huge pastures of cattle, and they'll rotate throughout the year. Then the pronghorn just slips through the fences or under the fences, and the pronghorn just go over wherever they want. Now we're hunting in August, and generally the rut is later in September. So we're pre-rut. Sometimes you'll find the bucks, with does, and sometimes they're by themselves, just kind of mostly off, I would say, by themselves, but still you can find them with a group, so just random.
And the temperature here, how would that compare to a normal hunting day? Because
I feel like we're a little wetter and a little cooler than normal.
Okay, because this is at the very upper end of what I experienced through the year at home.
Yeah.
And this is...
We're 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And I would expect to see, 80 to 85 degrees on an August antelope hunt in New Mexico. Well, right now it's like we're mid-afternoon and we've got low wind and we've got low sunlight.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice right now. Generally, I would say you need to be prepared to shoot in up to a 10 to 15 miles per hour wind and up to 500 or 600 yards.
Yeah, that would be
and that'll increase your odds of success tremendously. Now, what we have that you don't is we usually have really, really solid mirage signs. And if you think about this grass right here, like the wind here is very, very likely to be the wind at 600 yards.
Yeah, that's not
so the wind meter is a super great tool.
Yeah.
Where if you're hunting the mountains, a lot of times the wind meter doesn't do much.
No, and what height would you measure the wind from here?
I always wanted to get in that 6 feet range, and that gets you off of the ground effect.
Yeah.
So, and plus it also gets you into the average height of your trajectory if you're shooting, 6, 7, 800 yards.
Yeah.
So that's where the bullet's going to kind of spend its time, it feels like. Yeah. But I think, as you can see that there's not a lot of opportunity to stalk. Sometimes that animal that you see that you want to chase he's going to be 700, 800 yards.
Yeah.
And you just try to figure out how to take 200 off of it or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a typical antelope scenario.
Yeah.
So the face of that ridge is 1,500 yards. The antelope are about that much further.
The first one here?
Yes, right here. That's 1,500. And then the antelope are on top of that. They could be 800 yards, they could be 700. I can't get a reading because of the distance and the terrain. It's really flat. So what I find, like this hunt, what I would probably do is I would probably approach to that face and pop up over the ridge and hope you were in a shootable range.
Yeah. And what you use for glass? I mean, this is big country.
Yeah, but I'm about half blind. I'm wearing glasses here. But if you look on that flat, you can see them.
Yeah.
They're a mile and a half away, and you can see them with your eyes. But they stand out, they're white, they have horizontal lines. Generally, you can pick them out. I'm running a 12-power binocular, but you would be just as well suited with a 10-power binocular, because you're not, more resolution and more magnification doesn't help you pick the animal out any better.
Okay, and the spotting scope that I see on YouTube, what do you use that for?
So the spotting scope out here, we're just going to do 3 main things for you. Number 1, it's going to help you find and evaluate the right animal to dedicate your time to on the stalk. Because just because you pick the right animal and you make an attempt doesn't mean you get it.
Yeah.
Like they see really well and they run really fast.
Yeah.
Second one is when it is time to set up and shoot, out here our number 1 tool for reading the wind is mirage.
Yeah.
You can stick the wind meter up, you can measure it. It's flat, you can interpolate out to the animal, but being able to see the conditions, looking at the top of the grass, looking at the mirage, those are going to give you more confidence, because taking a 10 to 15 mile per hour shot at 600 to 700 yards, you have to be very confident in your wind reading.
So do you measure with the Kestrel and compare that to the Mirage and monitor the Mirage, or do you take direction and speed of the Mirage and compare it to the Kestrel? Or is it both? In
this condition, the Kestrel is probably 50% of my wind solution, and the Mirage is the other 50%. And if you see anything directionally through the Mirage that tells you something different than here, I'm kind of leaning on the Mirage to tell me what to do. But the Kestrel generally is going to give you a solution. The last thing is impact. Antelope, for being a small animal, I feel like they're really tough. And you can make a great shot and they just keep going.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to be super ethical about taking those shots and understanding how the game was hit and how he reacted, and if you do have a hit, you follow through and follow up. A miss is very common.
So what part of the body, or exactly where on the body would you want me ideally to thread the bullet?
Okay, the good news is we're shooting a 7mm.
Yeah.
We're a 180 grain bullet. We're well gunned for antelope. So in this case, we've got a tipped bullet. So we're gonna get great expansion. We're gonna do a big wound cavity. Hopefully it just puts him down right where he's at. In North America, generally most of our animals, we're aiming for the offside leg. That is our aim point, and so if they're quartering slightly to or from, that kind of teaches you to move forward or back to line up with that leg. So offside leg for a straight up standing animal, and then I like to be about mid-body for height on an antelope. But what you'll find here is finding the animals isn't the hard part.
Okay, so
that's about covering country. The hard part here is getting a stalk that will get you close enough that you can make a shot in the conditions that exist.
So find them somewhere where you have a terrain feature that will let you approach them closer.
Run the ultimate muzzleloader, the Remington K. Okay. One thing that we did, which I really like, is we did a two-piece ramrod that stows in the forend of the stock.
No way,
so the barrel free floats.
Yes.
So no matter what, you're always shooting without something hanging on the barrel.
That's awesome.
That is a good direction. I think our open sight's a good direction.
Absolutely.
I think a little tune-up on the ignition system, and then I think we'll have
good, but the effectiveness of them is they kind of start to break.
a bullet improvement that's just ready to happen in your muzzleloader space.
It's like I'm having to really, and then I find them, and then I'm like, I'm lost. Alright, so I'll just try to stay super low. The wind's pretty good in our favor, so I'm going to use the cow decoy ones where they can see us. But otherwise, we'll try to stay out of sight. Up the hill if he's in range, so that way you'll be able to lay down.
Yeah, gotcha.
You get back,
Yeah. Just kind of come right over that point.
I don't want to come over yet because we'll have enough cover by that yucca.
Yeah.
Just have it as background. We'll be able to get a good look at it.
Yeah, got it. Furthest to the right. 700. Too far.
Yes, it heads towards the left, and it's the very right back. It's number 4 from the right, correct? No, that was a doe.
Third. He's all by himself right now.
Yeah, I see him. On him. Grass looks good. Elevation, please.
13.4. Half minute to the left. Hold a half minute to the left.
Shooting.
Ready?
Yeah.
Badass, dude. That's fucking unreal.
I think this is the first Scandinavian hunter who used a 7 PRC to drop anything. That's pretty cool. For me anyway, I'm a bit of a gun nerd. Yeah, it was perfect drop like.
But you see how
like in this terrain, that 600 or 700 yard shot is
Needed.
It is.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be good at your wind.
Yeah.
Did you actually believe my wind call and hold
Yes, 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 yes. I don't fully have my head wrapped, but I understand it, but not intuitively like I would know.
Yeah.
But I just looked at the bracket for error and this is all good. Yeah. Shot felt fine. Rifle is rested. What do you want to say? You want to say hello to your friend there? It's not real.
He's like, what did you do to his legs?
Oh, it scared him off.
Yeah. Very nice shooting.
Nice shooting, man. That's
Thank
a
you.
hell of a buck.
Congratulations.
He's not willing to leave, is he?
So, what do you think, first impressions of the leather?
For a guy with big hands, I mean, it's ideal. I couldn't imagine anything else really now.
It's a good system. I'm pretty excited about it.
I just show us look in the scope, please.
Yeah.
You see how you orient.
Yes.
The heart as you would normal with that post.
Yeah.
All that close-up stuff as well.
Damn, that is awesome.
Thomas is fond of the reticle because that's a generation of his design. So it's a pretty cool reticle.
Well, I like how fine and intricate it is. You could definitely fine-tune everything.
So one part of Wyoming, I don't know if New Mexico's here, but when we hunt antelope in Wyoming, we always try to have a rodeo. Somebody has to get on the back.
And it's always the biggest guy is the one that has to do it. So from furthest away.
How many miles do you think you rode today?
So today I would say that we're probably right around 30 maybe
exactly.
or so. So and the crazy thing is it's you can burn 300, 350 miles a day out here.
I would say you hit dehydration a lot faster than you would be able to find the herd.
In here, we're walking for 4 days. Just the last day.
Yeah. You wouldn't even be able to put a dent in it. You have to use the vehicle to your advantage.
I'm excited to see the bullet and the shot placement. And
me too.
See how things went.
It got there quick too, man. It was. The next thing I know, he dropped. I stood up quick. I was like, he smoked him.
Sure, I could have killed a pronghorn, but I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Just counting numbers, you're saying like 3 from the right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I see horn. I lock on that.
Yes, but he definitely was bigger than the other two, so it was no doubt decision.
It's quite an amazing animal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Scott.
Yes, sir. Great shooting.
Isn't it coarse?
Feels almost synthetic.
Yeah.
I would expect this on a winter coat back home.
Yes.
And does this insulate against the heat as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they weather some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the heart shape you were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, so what you're looking for on a pronghorn is you're looking for the length.
Yeah.
And then you're looking for the size of this cutter.
Yeah.
And then you're looking for the mass. You get 4 mass measurements. You just divide the horn into quarters, and you get to take those 4 mass measurements.
Yeah, it takes a special eye for the antelope. You know, it's the length isn't always necessarily everything. It's the mass is where they're really going to pick up their score. And you know, those jet black muzzles, you can tell that they're mature animals.
Are you guys gonna mount him?
Yes.
Shoulder?
Yeah.
Shoulder
mounted, yes.
I like your answer. Come on in with this real quick. Sure.
There we go. The other one in?
Yeah.
These guys. Let's go. Beat me down, mother.
Do you think they'll notice the sign?
I think so.
It's very subtle, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, can you please tell my viewers where we are, what we've done, and what this is?
So we're in New Mexico in USA.
at the NRA Whittington Center. It's in Raton, New Mexico, and it's a world-class shooting facility. That everything from King of 2 Mile competitions all the way down to small bore silhouette pistol. Shooting ranges everywhere. It's just an amazing facility. So we've been doing this for nearly a decade, where we invite our clients to come spend a couple days with us training, and we'll either run through our traditional L1, L2 long-range hunting training course, or we'll maybe get a little more specific and do a marksmanship course and an equipment readiness course. So depending on the type of class we're trying to put together, we'll invite the students here, we'll spend a couple days together, and then we'll finish with kind of a prep to hunt, and we'll take them out into the wilderness of New Mexico, out in the flats into the beautiful country, and we'll spend some time chasing pronghorn, which we call antelope, which we call speed goats, but their pronghorn is the right name for them. And it's one of my favorite hunts. It's a lot of glassing, it's time moving and covering lots of country. We'll hunt these ranches that, you know, could be 100,000+ acres, where you might be able to drive 20 miles and still be on the ranch property. But it's a great hunt, and they're one of my favorite animals to eat, and they're one of the prettiest animals, I think, for the trophy.
Subscribe to the THLR channel by clicking the left logo icon, so you'll be shooting straighter than a drunk skunk before the sun shines over northern Norway.